Hey, what's up, guys? You got GPC back here today with something a little bit different on my channel. This week I'm bringing you my fill-in match in the GPC. I subbed in for my boy King Bub. He had some real-life issues going on, and he wanted someone to step up and help him out with the match this week. So I put my hand up, and we're taking on Macadii this week. I hadn't heard of the dude before I subbed in for Bub in this match, but he seems like a really nice guy. I checked out his channel, and he was actually undefeated up to this point in the GPC. So I was pretty excited going into this. Facing an undefeated player with a pretty awesome team. As you guys can see, he's got the Lando, he's got Mega Houndoom, Dragalge, and Latios. So yeah, definitely a scary offensive core. And then he's got Fortress and Rotom. There's a pretty nice defensive core on this team, which handles my offensive threats quite nicely. We're going to go over the team that I brought this week. We have specially defensive Blitz core for stuff like the Houndoom and the Latios. It's a pretty nice check to like a lefties or like a light clay variant of Laddie. This is like a life orbital specs. I'm chewing hits with relative ease, unless he's Ice Beam as well. Non-HP Ice variants of Lando can't touch this Glitz core, which is really nice. I can knock him off, removing his life orb, whittling him down. And then I have EQ for stuff like the Dragalge and the Houndoom. Next up we've got Scarf Vaporeon, which does a lot of work to his team. Ice Beam kills Lando, Surf to occurs a defensive Fortress, a Surf kills Mega Houndoom, Ice Beam to occurs offensive variants of Dragalge, Ice Beam to occurs standard Laddie, and Surf does a decent chunk to Rotom. Surf does like 20 to 25%, which is not bad. You can, when you think about the fact that Rotom is going to have to check a variety of mods on my team, namely Glitz core as well, so if I can knock off Rotom's potential lefties, then Vaporeon has an easier time wearing him down. And yeah, so that's the Vaporeon. So next up we have Ferrothorn, who is an Ockerberry variant, predominantly specially defensive. He also had a Terrakion on his team, so this dude has like threats, so many threats. I have Leech Seed, Gyro, Stealth Rocks, and T-Wave, I believe. T-Wave and Gyro obviously don't synergize well together, but getting a T-Wave off and a potential Houndoom switch in, or a potential even a potential Terrakion switch in is very nice for me, as those are both massive threats to my team. Next up we have my Aerodactyl, which is an Adamant Mega Aerodactyl with coverage moves to hit his team. Ice Fang kills Lando, Ice Fang, Adamant Ice Fang does after Rocks kills the Latios, if it's like an offensive variant. And then we have stuff like Stone Edge, just for general coverage on his team. I've got EQ for a Terrakion, and then I carry Fire Fang for the Fortress, so I can easily 2-KO any variant of Fortress with the Fire Fang, even if he is Ockerberry. The second hit will be able to take him out. So that is pretty nice. Next up we have a Life Orb. Next up we have a specially offensive Kyurem Black with. I'm rocking the Salic Berry this week. I'm rocking a sub Salic variant of Kyurem Black. I've got HP Fire, Ice Beam, and Earth Power, which basically, as you guys can see, just murks his team. The best thing he has for it is a specially defensive Fortress, which will get destroyed by HP Fire. So that's pretty nice for us. And if played right, Kyurem can punch massive holes in his team for Aero and Gengar and Vaporeon to clean up. And lastly we have a Scarf Gengar, which is pretty nice for his team. Obviously Pursuit Trap pretty nicely by Houndoom, but the fact that I'm Scarf means that I can still get a big hit off, if not take him out with something like Focus Blast. Unless there's Sucker Punch, Pursuit, Mind Games, like we should be able to come out on top. So we'll jump into it. So I lead off with Kyurem because it just has such a fantastic matchup versus anything he wants to lead with. I've got a lot of special defense, so I can easily tank. I can tank 2 Earth Powers actually from Lando. It's ridiculous. I can tank a hit from Houndoom with ease. I can sub up on the Rotom. I can't take a Draco from Laddie, but I do have Fortress or Glitz core if I need to switch that in. And if the Dragalge wants to drop a Draco, I can just sub on that and drop his special attack. So yeah, Kyurem was my lead of choice. I'm just going to go for the HP Fire here just to pop a potential Ockerberry on the Fortress. As you guys can see, he is Ockerberry, so this means that now Aerodactyl will be able to kill him with Fire Fang if he wants to preserve his Fortress for later on in the match. So that's very nice. He's going to go for the Gyro here. And Zero's 41%, so it's not going to 2-KO. I can just sub up on his switch out as he goes after Dragalge. And now I can just fire off an Ice Beam, gauging how much it does. It looks like a 2-KO from here, as it does 52%, so yeah, even if I get like a lower roll, I should be able to take him out with the next one. Now here, I go for the sub. just in case he wanted to switch out, but also if I were just to go for the Ice Beam here, then that would invite his Lando in to take me out with an Earth Power, something like a Superpower. But if I sub up here, I can pop my Salic Berry and force in the Sucker Punch Houndoom if he does have it, or something else is just going to die. So I do go for the sub here, and as you guys are going to see, the Salic Berry pops. And now we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty threatening because now he can't send in one of his offensive threats like Landorus. He can't send in Fortress because it'll die to an HP fire, so he has to send in Houndoom. So I'm going to preserve my Kyurem for Death Fodder, or even just to come in later on and outspeed stuff like Rotom and the Fortress. So Vaporeon can come in here pretty comfortably. Like, he had to Sucker Punch there. You know, if he had Pursuit, then that would have been pretty awesome, but you know, he couldn't have risked, like, Sucker Punch was his play 100%. He couldn't have risked me taking out Houndoom there with the Earth Power. So Vaporeon's going to come in, and right now I'm just going to Baton Pass, just in case he wants to go into either Latios or Rotom. He's not going to stay in with his Houndoom here. He hasn't determined like what my spread on Vaporeon is because he hasn't got any damage off yet, so as far as he knows, I could be like a specially defensive Vaporeon set, which would make sense as this is my switch into Houndoom. So I'm just going to Baton Pass here on the switch out to Rotom. As we get to go back into Gliscor, and like whilst I could have gone out into Kyurem, and got an Earth Power off, which would have been pretty nice. He could have just switched out into Lando on my Earth Power, and that wouldn't have been the nicest of situations. I would have wasted my potential hit with Kyurem. I just decided to go into my Gliscor to pop my Toxic and get the knockoff off on the Rotom, which would be pretty nice, giving Vaporeon an easier time taking down his team. So he actually shows to be Light Glaze, so he's a double screens variant of Rotom, which is pretty interesting, which makes me think that he's a setup on someone, so he could be like a Nasty Plot Houndoom, or a Carmine Lati variant, or even a Carmine Landorus variant, which would be very threatening. But I'm just going to set up my rocks here on his Fortress switch in. As his Fortress actually reveals Pain Splits, that's a very nice bring on his part. I decided to spam Stealth Rocks here, just in case he wanted to spam Rapid Spin, wanting to remove the rocks and the Leech Seed, to bring in something like Houndoom pretty safely in on the Ferrothorn. So the fact that I have shown that I want to spam Stealth Rocks makes me think that he's going to switch out into something like Houndoom just to capitalize on my Ferrothorn being in. So I do fire for Gyro Ball here. As you guys are going to see, I do get that play right as he does go into the Houndoom, and we get a nice amount of damage off on this Fortress. 34% with rocks is very nice damage, so he's going to make a switch out to Latios. A pretty nice double trying to capitalize on me going into something like, I suppose, the Vaporeon. As you guys are going to see this later on in the match, this is a Carmine variant of Latios. EV to actually take Ice Beams from a non-offensive Vaporeon and sub up on it. So that play made a lot of sense from Macadii. He was trying to capitalize on me going into Vaporeon, but I just decided to sack off Kyurem. It was going to die to rocks anyway, as I don't have hazard removal on my Gliscor or my Aerodactyl. And had he made a play like that and gone out to Latios, this was my best play, as now I don't allow him to set up freely on anything on my team. So now I can go back out to Gliscor and knock off his potential Life Orb, but he has shown the lefties there, so he's just going to bring back in Rotom. As I'm whittling this thing down pretty nicely, which is nice for Aerodactyl and Vaporeon, I'm going to go into Ferrothorn here just so he doesn't get too much health back with a potential Pain Split. If he did want to set up screens there, then I could start to repeat the process of leech seeding his switch-ins and wearing down his screen zones. He now goes out to Houndoom, knowing, I guess, that I was likely going to go for the leech seed here, and he could live one round at leech seed, which is fine. So Ferrothorn's getting a bit of health back, and I can just switch out to my Vaporeon here, knowing I can tank a Dark Pulse pretty easily, even though I am offensive. That only does 41%, so yeah, Vaporeon's really naturally bulky. And I'm just going to stay in here and fire off the Scarf Ice Beam off onto the Latios. That does 50%, as you guys can see, and Macadii was not expecting a fast offensive Vaporeon at all. As you guys can see, he actually subs here, and I know that because he's lefties, I can take a hit. Like, the fact that he's sub means he's probably not Draco, because that would be counterproductive with Carmine. Like, it's okay in standard play, but Carmine Draco in League, I don't know, I think he's better off running something like Side Shock, Dragon Pulse. As you guys are going to see, he does reveal the Dragon Pulse here, which is not enough to take Vaporeon out at all. So I can just start fire off another Ice Beam here, as he opts to bring in his Fortress. And I have no reason to sack off Vaporeon here, as it can come in one more time after Rocks. And Surf actually kills Lati from that range. Lati's going to come in on about high 20s, and it should go down to a Surf. Obviously, it's still a nice revenge killer for the Landorus, so I have no reason to sack off the Vaporeon there. I can just go right out to my Ferrothorn and maintain my rocks up on the field. As he pain splits up, I'm just going to fire off rocks in case he wanted to go down there to, in case he wanted to spin there. My best play is just to keep rocks up on the field, as now he does pain split up, and I'm not gonna punish him for that, for trying to spin the rocks away. He actually makes a misplay in my opinion here by rapid spinning there. He should have pain split, as now I can get up rocks and he can't spin them away freely. Well, he can if he wants. He can pain split first and then like rapid spin, but I think I'm gonna win this eventually because I do have the leech seed. So he just rapid spins here, but he's gonna get taken out by the iron barbs, and not being able to remove the rocks is really going to hurt his Latium and his Rotom switch-ins. So he goes for the rock polish here, and I go for the gyro, knowing that I can, with my special defense investment, take an earth power from even the life orb variant of Landorus. As he rock polishes up, and rock polish, you know, it's threatening. Like, I know my Rotom can take a hit, but like, even if like he did crit me here or take me out with something like superpower, my Gengar can come in. As long as he's not psychic, I can come in with Gengar. If he's psychic, then he's probably not rock slide for arrow. He's probably hidden power ice to hit my Gliscor or my arrow. If he's hidden power ice, then arrow lives. If he's rock slide, then Gliscor lives and kills him with 2 knockoffs, so, or even 1 knockoff from that range of health actually. So I wasn't too scared about this Landorus at this point. I know I can just fire off another Gyro Ball and live the earth power. Ferrothorn coming in clutch, as he's going to bring in his Latios here, and my play 100% is just go for the Gyro Ball, just in case he wants to roost up on a potential choke of mine, switching out to something like my Gliscor. As he goes for the Carmine, trying to capitalize on a potential choke on my end, which was his only play, to be fair, so I can understand that. As now in comes the Rotom, which is just going to take me out with the Volt Switch, and now I can just bring in Scarf Ginga to wrap up the game with Sludge Wave. So there you guys have it. That was pretty fun. Like, you know, I was happy to help out my friend King Bub, and a pretty fun game against Macadii. I'm glad that Vaporeon did a bit of work with the Scarf. That was pretty fun, and yeah, it was just overall a fun game. I thought I'd bring it to you guys just for some more content, as you know, I felt like it was just something fun to watch, a nice quick one, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like, you know, leave a comment if you guys enjoyed, letting me know what you thought of the match. Go and check out the GPC, go and check out Macadii's channel. I'll leave his link in the description below. He's a really nice guy and a cool dude, so yeah, go and check him out guys, and I'll see you next time.